I'll now call the October 5th, 2023 meeting of the Oak Ridge Town Council to order. Welcome to everyone here tonight. It's a true pleasure to be here together in service of our community. Thank you all also for watching via the YouTube live stream. I'd now like to invite Oak Ridge resident Pamela Hansiker, who is also the registrar for the Greensboro Battle Chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, forward to offer our invocation. Please rise.
Let us all pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the privilege of residing in our town of Oak Ridge. We are thankful for our mayor, council members, committee members, and other staff members who work tirelessly to improve our community. Give them continued wisdom, discernment, and energy as they make future decisions for us. Bless our plans, programs, and projects so that we can continue to promote safety and prosperity in our special town. We are grateful for our liberty and freedom as citizens of Oak Ridge and our country. Amen.
Would some of the scouts like to come forward and help lead us in the pledge? I know this is last minute, so if you feel comfortable doing so, please come on forward. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for being here for us, and thank you, Pamela Hansiker. We'll now move on to item 2 of our agenda, which is approval of the agenda. Council, is there a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries and the agenda is approved. We'll now move to item 3, which is approval of the minutes from our September 7th regular meeting. Council, you've had the opportunity to review a draft of these minutes. Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes of September 7th regular meeting.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries and the minutes are approved. These minutes will be posted on our website and accessible to residents, as are the minutes from all of our other past meetings. We'll now move to item number 4, resolutions, proclamations, and announcements. And I'm going to invite forward Regent Laura Mortensen and historian and chair of the Community Service Awards Committee, Joanne Lappel, and the state representative, Ms. Henry, who is in charge of Community Service Awards for the state. Please come forward.
Thank you, Mayor Schneider and Town Council, for this opportunity tonight. There are several members of our chapter here tonight, as well as the chair of our North Carolina State DAR Community Service Awards Committee, Larry Hines. I'd like to invite our honoree, Mike Matzinger, forward too, if he wouldn't mind while I say a few nice things about him. Guilford Battle Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, is pleased to be here tonight in front of a hometown crowd to present Mike Matzinger with the DAR Community Service Award. This award is given in recognition of his outstanding volunteer service and his patriotic impact on the lives of so many young scouts under his leadership. Often working behind the scenes, Mike, a lifelong Boy Scouts of America volunteer and scoutmaster for Troops 600 and 219 in Oak Ridge, guides and inspires his young scouts to honor our country's history and to support our veterans and active military. Many of the service activities by these Scouts mirror those of our DAR goals of patriotism, historic preservation, and education. Scoutmaster Matzinger places a strong emphasis on teaching his Scouts about our country's founding and its fight for freedom during the Revolutionary War. Troop 600 preserves the legacy of one of the youngest Revolutionary War patriots, 14-year-old bugler James Gillies, who was killed by the British and is buried nearby. The Scouts honor this young patriot's service 4 times a year by conducting a brief ceremony at the site where he died. Eagle Scout projects by Mike's troops have created a database of veterans' graves in Oak Ridge, and these veterans are remembered and honored by the Scouts with American flags on their grave sites on each patriotic holiday. The Scouts organized the 5K race that raised money for a new site in the town park to honor all veterans. A recent Eagle Scout project constructed a permanent flag retirement pit in the park for several moving ceremonies by the troops to retire American flags. Mayor Schneider enthusiastically shared her appreciation for Mike's commitment to community service in her letter of recommendation for this award, stating, quote, "He is respected and beloved by his Scouts, who are clearly inspired by his patriotism and guided by the values he places on protocol, a positive attitude, attention to detail, adaptability, and service," end quote. Besides these patriotic service, his Scouts also actively serve the community of Oak Ridge by serving as members of Oak Ridge Parks and Recreation Advisory Board and the Special Events Committee. Our Guilford Battle Chapter's Regent, Laura Mortensen, will now present Mike with this well-deserved award and a DAR lapel pin. The award certificate reads, quote, "The National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution Certificate of Award presented to Mike Matzinger for excellence in community service, October 5th, 2023, end quote. We thank you for your service, Mike, and congratulations.
Madam Regent and the honoree, if you guys could come back this way a little bit, stand in the middle of council, let's get some pictures, and then we'll invite other members of the DAR forward to join us. And other members of the DAR and Scouts, please come forward. And let's get some photos with the bigger crowd. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for being here for this great award.
Maybe you guys in front, the Scouts in front.
Here, hey, guys.
He'll be fine. He's tall enough. He's tall enough.
Yes, congratulations from all of us and on behalf of the town of Oak Ridge. What a joy to have this award during our meeting. Thank you. We'll now proceed to item 5, a report from the Guilford County Sheriff's Office. Do we have a representative here tonight? I know they were going to try to make it, and if they don't make it here before we need to move on to other things, I know that they will send council information on the crime statistics for the previous month. So at this point, we'll move forward to item number 6, the report from the Oak Ridge Fire Department, and Guess we're going to have our finance officer and Assistant Fire Chief Sam Anders present.
It's nice to multitask, but I was asked to do the report tonight. First, I'd like to report on the incidents. During the month of September, we ran a total of 77 calls. We had 8 structure fires, 34 rescue and medical emergency responses. We had another hazmat, 8 false alarms, and 25 other responses, which can be anything from a smoke scare to someone locked their keys out, and we need to open the vehicle for them, to animal rescues, et cetera. It's a little bit of a catch-all. But overall, fairly busy month. Our firefighters obtained 399.5 hours of training for the month. Little update for you. As of last week, we are waiting for one more permit from Guilford County to commence construction of the new training center. That's the good news. So it's moving. It's looking like we're getting ready to break ground. Now the bad news. The barbecue that we normally would be holding in the month of October is going to be postponed until spring. Now, several years ago, we used to do a spring, but with the ongoing construction, and the problem is where we cook the barbecue is where the training tower is going up. So we're building that, and we'll have a new facility also in the area for us to cook the barbecue. So we need just a few months. Barbecue doesn't taste too good if there's a wrecking ball swinging over our heads. So it's a mixed blessing. We will get everybody their barbecue fix, but it's going to be just a few more months. We've been waiting a considerable amount of time for the tower, and we've been waiting a considerable number of weeks for the permitting, but that has come through, and we will be commencing on that. So things are moving forward, and we will, as I said, good Lord willing, and we don't run out of pigs in North Carolina, we will have barbecues sometime in the spring. It'll probably be between March and June, but we will have some barbecues, the plan. And there is one other credential I'd like to share with you that one of our firefighters obtained yesterday. Firefighter John Nunez is now a dad. Baby Jeremiah was born yesterday, and everybody's excited. We got baby pictures that came out to the firemen today. So we're celebrating that we've got another new young member, and one of our firefighters has become a dad. So that's one of the most important things that can happen to a person in their life.
Absolutely.
All right. But that's everything I've got for the fire report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll now move to item 7, which is the town manager's report, and I'll turn it over to town manager, Mr. Bruce.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. Good evening. Several items for your consideration this evening. The first is consideration of approval of the appointment of Teresa Barberry to the Mountains to Sea Trail Committee.
Council, in accordance with our written policy regarding appointments to standing boards and committees, and based on a consensus vote of this body, consideration of this appointment has been placed on tonight's agenda. So is there a motion on this appointment, Council?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we appoint Teresa Barberry to the Mountain to Sea Trail Committee.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded and maybe thirded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries, and the appointment of Ms. Barberry to the Mountains to Sea Trail is approved. Thank you.
The second item is consideration of the North Carolina statewide mutual aid agreement. This is an agreement that the town originally entered into in 1997. We updated in 2009, and now it's time to just update it again. This is a document that in terms of, in the event of an emergency, this agreement lays out the process for a request for aid or to render aid to other communities that may be experiencing a natural disaster or some other type of emergency. Given that the town of Oak Ridge town government doesn't have police or fire EMS resources, we've consulted with the Oak Ridge Fire Department, and they have agreed to be the primary contact. This is something that the North Carolina Department of Public Safety has also endorsed, and so Chief Gibson will be the primary contact in case this agreement needs to be used. The town, of course, will be a secondary contact, and if there's any resources that we can share or that we need, they're available to us.
Thank you. Council, you've had a chance to read through the agreement in the form of, oh no, that's the other one. You've had a chance to read through the agreement. Is there a motion on this matter?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the 2023 statewide mutual aid agreement for the town of Oak Ridge, North Carolina.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries and the agreement is approved.
Next item is consideration of Resolution 2023-10, the addition of Carriage Cove Drive and Fellows Court to the North Carolina State Maintenance System.
Thank you. Council, you've had a chance to read through this. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the addition of Carriage Cove Drive and Fellows Court to the North Carolina State Maintenance System.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries and the resolution is approved.
And for the final item, I'd like to ask the Assistant Town Manager, Ms. Smith, to address that.
Thank you, Council. As you know, Veterans Honor Green will be built. Special Events Committee has been raising funds for that. During the month, or the quarter, excuse me, ending September 30th, they raised $1,815. So after adding that to our current total, the amount in the Veterans Honor Green Fund would be $238,930.62. And we would ask that this amount be moved into the Veterans Memorial Restricted Fund.
Thank you. Council, is there a motion on this matter?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we move $1,815 earned this quarter to the Veterans Memorial Restricted Fund.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? And as we all know, this ensures, by moving it to the restricted fund, it ensures that donations made for this purpose will be used solely for that purpose. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries and the recommended financial action is approved. Is there any other business, Mr. Bruce?
No further business, thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Smith. Thank you. We will now move then to item number 8, which is the first of 2 periods for public comment. Speakers are asked to provide their name and address and are asked to keep their comments under 3 minutes in length, and I'll ask our Assistant Town Manager to keep time for us, if you would. Is there anyone who wishes to speak? Yes, Ms. Baker. And we'll get to everyone, but I saw your hand first. Did I say your name wrong? I'm sorry. You. Beal. Why do I mix you up with Baker? I don't know. Starts with a B.
That's fine.
Thank you.
My name is Mary Elizabeth Beal, 3408 Edgefield Road. I've been a local interior designer for over 25 years, and I am the chair for the Historic Preservation Committee for the Daughters of the American Revolution Guilford Battle Chapter. Please join us in a combination of community outreach events and fundraising initiatives for the historic Maple Glade House. This beautiful neoclassical revival-style house was built in 1905 on the Oak Ridge Military Academy campus. Established in 1852, the school is the oldest pre-college military boarding school in the United States and the first to admit girls. Maple Glade's interior features original oak woodwork, 9 original wood and tile mantels, the originals and original stained glass windows. The interior of the house is in good shape for now. However, the house desperately needs several exterior repairs as it is currently taking in water. With water penetrating the house, it is only a matter of time before the beautiful interior will begin to show the same signs of decay as the exterior. Our next fundraising event is Saturday, October 14th at the Oak Ridge Military Academy's homecoming event, Bridge to the Ridge. This is a free event that Oak Ridge Military Academy is putting on for our community. I believe there's some people here that will give more information on that later. But there will be walking tours of the campus, and the historic Maple Glade House will be open for free tours during the event. We will be stationed outside to let people know about the needed repairs and ways to get involved or donate. Please let me know if you're interested in helping out or donating. Guilford Battle DAR is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so your donations to us for this project are tax deductible. Thank you.
Thank you, and my apologies, Mary Elizabeth, I'm so sorry. Anyone else who wishes to speak? I saw another hand. Ms. Williams, come on down, and we'll...
I am Angie Williams. I work for Oak Ridge Military Academy. You need my address. We're going to use the academy, 2317 Oak Ridge Road. I'll follow up with Mary Elizabeth and say that we are having Bridge to the Ridge on the 14th. It is a community outreach program. We're having a live band, a carnival, a car and bike show. The cadets will do a parade and a exhibition, and we will also have a vendor fair that'll take place in the yard of, or the lawn of Maple Glade. Not only will Maple Glade be open for tours, but we will also have the Archives and Museum in the inside of the alumni building available to go through. Mr. Savage has agreed to come in, and he is a curator of our museum. He's been there since forever, and so he can answer pretty much any questions. The other thing that I'd like to let you guys know is that Dr. Wilson has been gracious enough to agree to let us host an event on October 27th at 7 p.m. as a town council debate. I know that there are several members that are up for re-election and some in the community that are running, and we wanted to offer the campus so that our kids can actually see democracy in work. Often when we see YouTube videos or TikTok, which is how they relate to reality, it's very explosive and controversial and very in your face in 45 seconds or less. So we would like to show them what really it looks like when you run for and take responsibility for a seat such as you. That is all I have for you guys. Any questions, feel free to give me a shout, and I will email y'all details tomorrow.
Just say October 28th?
27th?
27th.
It's a Friday at 7 p.m.
Hey, hold it, wrong month.
at Oak Ridge Military Academy. We will be inviting the other, should you guys agree and say yes, you'll come, we will be inviting every other school in the district to come out and see. We're hoping to do it. We're hoping they will give extra credit. We're just going to press ours into service because that's what we do.
Way to go.
And
Thank you, and
sure.
thank you for offering that, and thank you for being here tonight.
What time?
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
27th at 7.
We'll get more information on
Yeah,
this.
I will email you guys tomorrow.
This isn't the only time we're going to hear about this.
Exactly, exactly.
So thank you.
Thanks.
And I saw another hand over here, Ms. Domchowski. And then we'll head back over there.
Patty Domchowski, 7320 Hidden View Drive. I would just like to add my congratulations to Mike Matzinger on his recognition tonight. Mike has been instrumental in every one of the special events, Memorial Day, 4th of July, the Veterans Day, anything we have asked of Mike, he has brought his scouts out to do. Our 9/11 was an example also when he brought them out. And if anyone has been there, when Mike has his scouts there, he makes sure that every button is in place, everything is the way it's supposed to be as a Boy Scout, Girl Scout, if you will. And he's also been instrumental on expanding the Girls Scouts, if you will, if I can say that. He has been wonderful. So just congratulations to Mike, well deserved.
Thank you. Ms. Adams.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to address the council tonight. My name is Maria Adams, and I live at 5999 Morganshire Drive, Summerfield, and my business is located here in Oak Ridge. I'm here, many of you do know me as a resident of the area and also a local business owner, but I'm here in a different capacity tonight, and that is as the chapter chair of the Guilford County Moms for Liberty. And I just wanted to share a little bit about what Moms for Liberty is. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization, and our mission is the dedication to fighting for the survival of America by unifying, educating, and empowering parents to defend their parental rights at all levels of government. And we have a second goal for Guilford County, and that is also to make sure that parents understand their parental rights and to advocate for parental rights. And that certainly fits right up into another role that I have, that I sit on the State Superintendent's Parent Advisory Commission. Just speaking of the Constitution, during Constitution Week, just a few weeks ago, our organization distributed over 3,000 Constitution guides to local charter schools and homeschools, as well as we dropped some off here at the Town Hall office. And we also participated in the bell ringing with the Daughters of the American Revolution on September the 17th. This week, we're focused on literacy, and as part of our efforts to support Guilford County schools, we've encouraged our members to volunteer and to sign up as tutors, because there are a lot of students in Guilford County schools that really need some additional help in their literacy. So we also advocate for parental rights, and we're very excited and very happy to see that the SB 49 Parental Bill of Rights was passed and ratified in the General Assembly, and that Guilford County Schools will be adopting policy regarding the parental rights. So we have our next meeting October the 26th, and I'll be sending you an invitation to come. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you. Yes, in the blazer, blue blazer. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Ted Shelton, 6813 Koala Drive, and I'm here on behalf of Bear Creek homeowners and with the Mountain to Sea Trail, which it's a great concept, but when it goes through your neighborhood, it creates a few concerns. And so I wanted to just share some of those concerns with the council. The entrance of the planned trail will be located in the center of Bear Creek neighborhood. This will require trail users to walk approximately a quarter of a mile on the roadways of Bear Creek in order to reach the trail or exiting the trail on Brookbank. Bear Creek is composed of 23 single-family homes built over the last 12-plus years, occupied by families of various sizes. There are over 40 children ages 2 to 18 in this community, of which 30 or 16 are younger. While walking on the trail can have some benefits, placing the trail in the center of a community creates unacceptable risk for the residents. The location on Polar Drive will cause the trail users to walking in and around Bear Creek homes. While the trail will attract a volume of people who may be fairly intended on just walking the trail, the population of users of the trail will largely, if not almost completely, be unknown to our community. The trail is intended to be a significant draw to people, which unfortunately will cause there to be also a draw of folks to create a new risk to the residents of Bear Creek. Where parents normally have their children play and ride their bikes at ease, they will no longer be able to do so. The volume of vehicles that also now travel into development again will create a hazard for the neighborhood residents. The trail easement, with a width of only 8 feet, is also prompt trail hikers to go into the neighborhood's property. This creates a risk to hikers being injured or on the private property of a Bear Creek homeowner. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Goebel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bill Goebel, 1402 Westridge Road, Greensboro. I'm here to love on Mike Massinger. I think Mike would be one person that didn't want to be honored. It's the last thing he wants. But I've seen him as my role as chairman of the Old North State Council and 20 other councils. I've seen him, what I do is watch a lot of volunteers, and I like to watch them interact with the scouts. And when I watched Mike interact with the scouts, I was out at Camp Cherokee, and a couple scouts came up, and they're having some issues, as young men do. And Mike looked at him and said, have you taken this to your patrol leader and discussed it? Because we teach kids how to work together for the common good and common ground to get things done. And I see that in this council. You guys could all be scouts. But my point is that Mike is a humble servant. He embeds duty to God, duty to country, service to others, and then take care of yourself. And I just wanted to get on the record to honor Mike, my good friend. And we need more people like Mike in this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Lindsay, I don't know your last name.
Hello, Lindsay Clark, 6816 Koala Drive. This is kind of follow up on the previous statements about the Mountains to Sea Trail. So the Mountains to Sea Trail currently travels down from Highway 150 along Bunch Road and is proposed to connect to the future Bandera Farms Park at the town's edge. Bikers frequent these roads, and the new park will likely attract more biking and hiking activity. As you heard before me, the town has decided without consent of affected citizens to run trail easements through residential neighborhoods in a misguided effort to add walkability to the town. I propose a long-term solution to accommodate the Mountain to Sea Trail hikers, bikers, and future Bandera Farm Park visitors: paved shoulders along the roadway. There are currently plans for 4-foot paved shoulders for multiple roads outside of the town core. Reading from the Town of Oak Ridge Comprehensive Pedestrian Transportation Plan from 2013, quote, "The 32 miles of shoulder recommendations," shown in diagrams in the document, "are along roadways outside the town core where sidewalk recommendations may not suit the rural character of development. The shoulder improvements have been prioritized along with the sidewalk and side path recommendations. The 32 miles include mileage for both sides of the roadway. Accommodating 4-foot paved shoulders along these routes will provide a multi-purpose facility to improve pedestrian and bicycle transport and improve the safety of automobile travel," end quote. It is my understanding that these plans were made prior to the development and approval of the Bandera Farms Park project. Based on the existing need of Mountain to Sea Trail hikers, bikers, and the future park visitors down this corridor, I plan to petition the council to include this segment of Bunch Road in the shoulder improvement plan. It would run 1.5 miles, 3 miles including both ways, and provide nearly 200 homes either direct or neighborhood access to this path and connect the entirety of Oak Ridge to Bandera Park. It would maintain this segment of the Mountain to Sea Trail without encroaching on quiet established neighborhoods. It would also allow drivers and bikers to more peacefully and safely traverse this route. I ask you to please reconsider steamrolling the trail easements in favor of instead expanding upon the existing paved shoulder solution that is planned for the rest of the town. Simply adding 3 miles to the approved 32 miles based on new developments of the Bandera Farms Park project. And if you're not familiar, I have a diagram here from the document showing in yellow there's several miles of paved shoulder expansions planned or maybe existing. I don't travel all the roads. In orange is the proposed route. Essentially, I don't have a color version. There's planned expanded shoulders, sidewalks, trails, all throughout the town, not including access to Bandera Farms Park. And this little orange segment along Bunch Road would solve that solution. It would give everyone kind of a funnel, all that traffic, a safe route to Bandera Farms Park, along with the proposed Piedmont Greenway going along this route here. So, as I said, the petition is forthcoming. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak tonight? Mr. Stone.
Good evening, Mike Stone, 8112 Hunting Cog Road. Today's Northwest Observer states or reports that the state gives Oak Ridge $4.5 million. First, the state doesn't give away money. That's taxpayers' money that we paid for. To the uninformed, what's happened is the town council has politically beholden itself to Raleigh and Senator Phil Berger. Phil Berger punished Summerfield to make them pay a political price for opposing his friend and political supporter. He'd do it to Oak Ridge, but you've knelt at his throne. The $4.5 million isn't manna from heaven. This is political ransom to be paid to Senator Berger with strings attached in the future. Then, in what seems to be a totally separate issue, we're also told in the Northwest Observer that the town council may seek new bids for the Veterans Honor Green due to the bids exceeding the amount earmarked for the project. That's amazing. This is the same town council that increased spending taxpayers' money for the Redmond House from $250,000 originally to $450,000 and now to $630,000 simply because the bids exceeded the planned amount. There are 3 town council members currently that had no qualms about voting to increase the spending without concerns about the number of bids or the increased cost for the Redmond House project. But when it comes to a project that honors the veterans, they'll stop the project, identify cost modifications, and then seek bids for a modified plan. You didn't stop the process for Redmond House. You didn't modify the plan. You didn't identify modifications. In fact, when asked about your preservation at any cost approach, not one of you will say what the limit is for spending on Redmond. Look, you just took $4.5 million from the state tax money for projects that you included in a recent budget. You also raised taxes on every citizen in Oak Ridge by over 20% to pay for those same projects. This amounts to double taxation. You've got 2 options. You can immediately reduce the taxes for the citizens of Oak Ridge to eliminate your 20% tax increase on our families, or you can continue with your tax and spend governance. I'll say it more clearly. If the majority of the town council, and especially those running for re-election, will not make immediate motions to repeal your tax increase and manage all projects fairly and consistently, you don't deserve to sit in those chairs. And you're certainly not representing all of the citizens of Oak Ridge. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Yes, please come on down.
Thank you for the opportunity. I do admit I do not have prepared marks. I'm David Ehrman, a resident of Bear Creek neighborhood, live at 682.
You might want to pull the mic up. You're
also
pretty tall.
David Ehrman of 6821 Koala Drive in Bear Creek neighborhood. And I appreciate my fellow neighbors, Steve, John, Lindsay, in bringing our concerns about the easement. Yes, I'm a father of 4. Just came back from a date with my youngest daughter. And I'm simply here as a concerned parent. We just found out, about this easement. Yes, I do support the mountain to trail, path. I'm an avid mountain biker, enjoy running. Love being outside. I'm teaching my kids that, especially as an intensive care doctor. Being outside, being healthy, being active is an important part of our lives. We also intentionally moved to Oak Ridge 6 years ago after having lived in Old Irving Park for the very purpose of finding a smaller community and a neighborhood that suited our lifestyle. And we have been very pleased with the community that we have found. Again, 4 kids. Yes, we do homeschool, and we spend a lot of time in the neighborhood. And one of the reasons why we chose Bear Creek was, for the safety, as well as the woods, the creek in the back, the opportunity for our kids to spend time outside learning, just as much as inside. While I support, the trail, I'm very concerned about the safety it presents. And the thought, behind, how it has been placed, in the middle of our neighborhood. I'm very encouraged and interested in Lindsay's, option, regarding, other opportunities, for ways to get around town. We've been very much intrigued by the idea that if there were sidewalks or ways to get into Oak Ridge, into the park, that we spend a lot of time at, with youth sports, we would love to do that. And right now on Bunch Road, there's not a safe route to do that or another means to get there. So I simply wanted to let you guys know that while I support, the trail, I would like for there to be more discussion about its placement. While I support, Banderas, Farms Park, would certainly like to be a part of, discussions about how to design and build it. Thank you for this time.
Thank you. Mr. DeLine. Sorry, I'm going to forget everybody's name tonight.
Yeah, I'm not as tall as David. I'm his neighbor, John DeLine, 7796 Polar Drive. I'm in the Bear Creek subdivision as well. And a couple of you were able to come out today, and I appreciate that, to take a look of how the big supporter of trails, big supporter of Mountain to Sea Trail. We are trail people. But this one kind of goes through my backyard, and it has an impact on the neighborhood, as Ted outlined before, and kind of the grievances that the homeowners association has all signed off on around this trail, not being knowledgeable, but this was happening, and then kind of discovering it. So I'd just like to say, much like David, we love the town of Oak Ridge. We moved out here. We put a lot of money into our home and built it for our family. And everybody's got different situations. We built it. My oldest son is an adult, will be living with us. He's an adult with special needs, and we built everything inside, a potential elevator in the future, and wide doors, all those types of things. And this will be a disruption is the way that it goes through our backyard. So I just wanted to go on record and say that while I'm a supporter of trails, I really would like to invite the town to consider options like Lindsay has put forth, and things that would be better for the overall community without kind of eminently pushing through neighborhoods. While it's not on our property, and I understand that, it is right on my property line, and you can see everybody walking through my backyard now, and that doesn't work for my son, our family, and our setup there. So I personally, and on the behalf of the homeowners association, I would really like to get to dialogue on this and see if we can't do something creative that's better for everybody in Oak Ridge rather than just plowing through. We still got to get across Brookbank. I understand there's neighborhoods over there. I'm sure nobody wants the hot potato, and I can empathize with you all trying to make progress on things like trails that are good for our community, and not everybody's going to be happy. But I think there's just, when you can get to dialogue together, we might be able to find something that works for everybody in a better way, a lot like what Lindsay's suggesting. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak tonight? Okay. Then, if not, we will move on to item number 9, which is new business, and we'll start with consideration of the contract for the Veterans Honor Green. I'll turn it over to Mr. Bruce.
Thank you. In your packets, you'll find the bid tabulations for the town's request for proposals for construction of the Veterans Honor Green. The 3 bids that were received were $341,000 from WC Construction, $375,500 from Bar Construction, and $412,036 from Cinderella Partners. As referenced earlier, donations received to date, as well as grant funding and the town matches, the total budget for the project is $238,930. In conformance with state statutes, we negotiated with the low bidder to identify some value engineering modifications that could lower the total cost to be more in line with the available budget. And we did receive a lower value engineered bid of $264,000. However, it removed multiple components that were central to the design of the Honor Green and fundamentally changed the overall design. In consultation with the designer and with some council members, it was clear that it would impact the overall vision of the project that had been endorsed and approved by the town council. With the advice of our designer, staff advises that there are other more appropriate modifications that we could make to the plan to achieve some cost savings, and also to the bid documents, including modifying the bid to remove the boardwalk section from the base bid and include it as an added alternative. And I'll thank Councilman Sullivan for suggesting this, and it was something that our designer thoroughly endorsed. So it's the recommendation of staff to reject the 3 bids received in response to the RFP and request that staff re-advertise for bids for a value engineered base bid without the boardwalk section and an alternate bid to include all boardwalk elements.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Council, is there a motion on this matter?
Yes, ma'am. I make a motion that we reject the 3 bids received in response to the town's RFP for Veterans Honor Green construction and request that staff re-advertise for bids for a value-engineered base bid without the boardwalk section and an alternative bid to include all boardwalk elements.
Since you made the motion, would you like to speak to it?
need a second.
Council, oh, I'm
Hold on, we
sorry.
got to have a second.
Forgive me. Is there a second?
Second.
Now, I'm sorry, I turned to you, Councilwoman Pittman, too
I'll get to
quickly.
talk.
But now, would you like to speak to
Yes,
this?
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was disappointed that the bids were so high. And this was an informal bid process. This was not a formal bidding process, and it is a little different. And so therefore, we have a little more flexibility. I am pleased that working together with staff, the committee, and with Council Sullivan's input on the nuances of the bid request and presentation. Hopefully, we found an approach that we can continue moving forward on this important project. The public and the donor support has been terrific, and following through to our commitment to those donors is very important. I think rebidding a value engineered plan with possible phasing, just because if we don't accept a bid, this is a project that is very easily phased, or more easily phased than some of our other projects, because the two parts are so different. I'm hoping that we're going to be successful and can get started very quickly. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Sullivan, do you have any remarks? Discussion.
Just a couple. I think it was disappointing to see the bid amounts be so high, but then I thought back that the only estimate that we really got on this project is probably 3 years old now. And we actually revised the cost upwards during the fundraising. So we anticipated some creep, as we've seen with all of our projects that we bid recently, in construction costs creeping upwards. I think it was a little bit of a shock to see them be so much over, but I attribute that simply to the fact that so much time's elapsed since we had a good estimate from the architect. This is the type of project, however, that is flexible in design, that I think with some direction, the architect can come up with some good alternatives for us, some value engineering with materials used, and having an ad alternate for the boardwalk, because the architect initially thought that was a fairly expensive single item. And it is a part of that project that could easily be added later if we just had the original concept of the memorial itself. So I think this is a good approach for us to take on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Kinnaman.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely in favor of putting the boardwalk to the side. As a veteran, I was in favor of a simpler design. I have no problem with the design, but as part of this rethinking, I would encourage the committees to take a look at other features that might be available to simplify the design and possibly reduce the cost. Things that may be able to be added later, or like I said, to simplify the design. But yeah, like I said, it's the right thing to do to put it out for rebid with the ability to bid out the boardwalk separately and potentially look at other things that can be modified that might reduce the cost and simplify the design a little bit.
Thank you. Councilman McClellan.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Well, I mean, this is one of the impacts of inflation. We have continuously seen this with regards to our estimates. They're higher than what we had even estimated by people who had told us what we should expect. I think it is the right thing to go back and resubmit the bids and to do value engineer designs and study as far as the bids. And I hate being that may delay the project a little bit, because I certainly am very impressed with the Veterans Honor Green. So I will be voting for this, and, let's see where we go from there.
Thank you. And I would just like to add that from the beginning in our discussions with the landscape architects, Revington Reeves, they've always talked about this as a possible phase 2 if bids came in high. I do believe, and I haven't discussed this, I don't think, maybe with one person, but if the bid came in a little bit high, we'd be okay with it. This council has been a huge supporter of this project.
Yes.
But what we got in this project from those who designed the project, Revington Reeves, when we went back on other projects, we said, can anything be changed? Can it be phased? The answer was no. In this case, and we said, are these bids appropriate to the project? And in other cases, we heard, yes, they are. You're not going to get lower bids. In this case, Revington Reeves came to us in a very thoughtful way and said that they said even in today's inflated marketplace that $341,000 is simply too high, they think, for a simple site with monuments and a boardwalk. Now, we may all be wrong again, but they think it's worth a try, and by tweaking the design a little bit, we have the ability, we can't just, it would be awkward, and I'm not sure even legal, to just rebid the same thing over again. We can't do that. But because we have an opportunity with their really excellent guidance to tweak the design a little bit, we can rebid it. So I'm in favor of this, and this is not the same as other projects that have been mentioned. Are there any further comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries, and the proposed action regarding bids for the Veterans Honor Green is approved. Let's see. And now back to you, Mr. Bruce, for the consideration of the NCDEQ permit set for the water tower.
Thank you. The construction plans for the elevated water tank and the water line that would connect the tank to the Oak Ridge Fire Department are complete and have been reviewed by the Water Advisory Committee. There is a full set of plans here at Town Hall that's available for review, and I believe the plans were sent electronically to council, and some of you may have them in your packets as well. At its meeting on September the 26th, the Water Advisory Committee recommended approval of these plans with 2 minor modifications that I won't go into that detail in my remarks, but they're in your memo. And I will note that approval of these construction plans will authorize submittal to the NCDEQ, the Department of Environmental Quality, for permits to construct. Once those permits are received and the interlocal agreement with Winston-Salem is approved, the town can proceed with bidding the project for construction. So it's my request to approve the water tower and water line plans with those minor modifications for submittal to NCDEQ.
Thank you. Council, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the water tower and water line plans submitted with the minor modifications for submittal to the NCDEQ for permits to construct.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Councilman Sullivan, do you have any remarks?
Yes, Water Advisory Committee has been working diligently on this project for a good while now, and in close conversation with our engineers, the Wooten Company, and we think we have reached the point that we can go move ahead with this project. There are so many steps, though, that you have to go through to gain approval of a public water supply. This is the next step. We cannot even bid the project yet without the state approving it. So it's a necessary step that we ask council to approve the plans that we have before us. One comment concerning construction costs. In our conversations with the Wooten Company, they are constantly updating construction costs to us. So we feel pretty comfortable with the estimates that we have and with the monies that we have accumulated through grants to proceed with not only this project, but funding the water line that will run from Kernersville to the water tower. So that's the next step, and that's where we are.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pittman.
Yes, I actually had the opportunity to sit in on the water board meeting, this last meeting. Mayor Snyder wasn't able to be there, and I was really impressed with their expertise and their process for reviewing and approving plans. They're very methodical and very meticulous in terms of making sure the details were good. So I'm happy to see us take another step forward on providing safe, reliable water for fire suppression and for residents one day.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Kinnaman.
Yeah, I've been in support of getting water in town since I moved here. One thing I want to make sure that we are going to do before we put it out for bid is that we have some estimates what it's going to cost to maintain the tower, because initially we're not going to have much of any customer base for the tower until that pipe comes in, and even when the pipe comes in, whether or not how many customers you have. So I want to make sure we understand exactly what it's going to cost us to maintain that tower until the customer base can support it. So that's one of the big things I'm going to be, one step I would definitely request we make sure we do before we put it out for bids is what it's going to cost us to run this thing, since the town will be paying for it initially. We will have no ratepayers to speak of paying for this tower. It will be the town paying for this tower's maintenance and ongoing care. So while I support it, I want to make sure how much we're getting into it before we put it out for bid.
Councilman McClellan.
Well, I'm needless to say, I've been a supporter of having this tower for fire suppression purposes and for the future needs of our town. I'm very happy to support this motion here. It's another step forward to helping to make the water system a reality here in Oak Ridge. We've been talking about this for, 25 years. Now it finally looks as if we're getting close to reality. It will help provide our fire department with a dependable source of water to help them in their mission. And, to me, that's the most important thing, period. And so, once again, I am planning to vote for this.
Thank you. I agree. This is an exciting step, and I urge residents, we've got a timeline about what we've done in terms of planning for water that's 2 pages in a pretty small font, so you might need a magnifying glass because there have been so many steps, as Councilman Sullivan alluded to. We have worked really hard to get to this point. And just to clarify what Mayor Pro Tem Kinnaman said, initially this water tower, once we're sure that we have an agreement to get Winston-Salem water through an interlocal agreement that we're working on right now, the tower will be built initially to serve the water needs, or will be filled with a high-producing well in the new Heritage Farm Park, and it will serve the water needs of the town park and the fire suppression needs of our Oak Ridge Fire Department. Later, now that the General Assembly has approved $4.5 million for water for Oak Ridge because they support infrastructure in many small towns, and I've talked to the mayors of lots of those towns. This money is going to be a godsend because what it will allow us to do, thanks to Representative John Faircloth and indeed Senator Phil Berger, is to construct a water main that will come from the Forsyth County line and bring water down. Once that is constructed, the water tower will be filled with that water, and we have the opportunity to serve residents all along the way and the Oak Ridge Elementary School. I don't think I could have imagined all of this happening even a few years ago, but I want to stress that the ability of this council to look ahead, to engage in strategic planning, go through the process of becoming an approved municipal water provider by the state, and to actually allocate our own funds first to the engineering necessary for this effort is what made our requests at both the state and the county levels convincing. If we had said, hey, we'd really like a water system, can you give us the money for that? Without investing in the planning and engineering, our hand would have been much weaker, and I don't think we would have received that money. We've been able to show time after time that we've invested in this for the long haul, and that makes the big difference when you're asking for funding and when you're trying to meet the future needs of our growing town. We also have an excellent track record for planning, saying what we're going to do, and then doing it. And we have a great reputation at both the county and the state level for just that. Are there any further comments? If not, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries, and the application to the NCDEQ of the water tower permit set is approved. We'll now move to item number 10, which is our monthly financial update, and I'll turn to Finance Officer Sam Anders for his report. You're putting on a different hat right now.
If you thought talking about fire calls was exciting, wait till we go over the balance sheet. All right. For the month of September, we've received ACH wire transfer remitting the property taxes of $30,660.15, motor vehicle taxes of $10,013 for a total of $40,673.31. Fairly normal. We had this spike last month. I coordinate this with some of the other transfers by the county that I see. We had a spike in the September receipts, not in the October. Fire department had a spike in October, not in the month of September. The transfer dates by the county are about 4 days apart. So everything, we watch ratios and make sure the collections and everything are proportionate throughout the land mass of the town and the overlying districts to make sure that both parties are being funded correctly. Everything looks normal. For the month, we had sales tax and property tax, interest for September, franchise tax receipts, which are on telecommunications, video program, and electric power, pipe, natural gas. We had some other park revenues. Special events had some receipts. Reimbursement on water grant for the water system work we've already had done, and donations for the Veterans Honor Green. Investments at the depository banks, we're still monitoring those. We're in constant contact. In fact, we got pursuant to the article in the Northwest Observer that I've not seen yet. We received a call from one of our depository banks wanting to wave the flag and let us know that they are more than happy to receive any additional funds that come through that we need banking services for. So got to give them points for jumping on the bandwagon really quick. But great customer service. We are very fortunate that overall our banking relationships, they're all good, but quite a few of those relationships are absolutely great in that they solicit, what do you need? How can we help you? And that's something we don't normally see in the financial circles very often. We've been supporting the staff with grant compliance, with the ARPA, the SCIF grants, the CIP progress, and work on the potential water system. Audit field work was completed in the month of September. We're still supporting the auditors. That's an ongoing project as we're wrapping up some loose ends. They're having to do some additional work because of the grants, the federal monies, state monies, and everything going through. On the CIP, of course, with construction underway, they have to look at more documents. So we've got more time in the audit because of the volume of transactions we're going through. Overall, everything right now, we should be on schedule for presentation next month. Behind the finance officer's report is the financial statement. We're holding a balance of $6.9 million in assets of current nature. Our fund balance is at $6.8 million. Most of that is in funds committed for the capital projects, the loan proceeds up here for Heritage Farm Park. For the current month in September, we had a total come in of $945,081.60. Of that, $728,498 was property taxes in the month of September received. So we expect we will have probably lower collection for of course, we know about October now, but November, December, and then January will be the next massive spike. Expenses for the month totaled $892,864.35 for an addition to fund balance of $52,000. We had outlay on the park construction that's underway, so we're going to see a lot of high ins and high outs until the park is constructed. Behind that, you've got a Schedule 1, which is the monies that are at Truist, Bank of Oak Ridge, and Piedmont Federal. Behind that is the detailed breakdown, and the budget to actual numbers are on all of this stuff. We've got our asset listing, we've got our debt schedule, and that's the financials for the month. Overall, very good position. We do anticipate having the auditors here to present the audit next month, with compliance being by the end of this month for the initial filing by them to the state treasurer's office. So overall, we're on track with everything. One project we're working on with the Jones settlement coming in and that first check being received. I'm going to talk to the lawyer right after the meeting. Our normal process, this is the month we send the penalties for tax collections that by state law we're required to remit. We're going to tweak that a little and go ahead and handle both of these matters at the same time. Because of various past issues, we pay it to the law firm for the school board, so that Mayor Combs handed a check to a member of administration, and somewhere that check disappeared between the meeting date downtown and their office. So after that, he ensured that we used a direct pipeline to make sure that it goes in. But overall, it's an annual thing that we do by state law. That'll be handled this month. The audit's going to be coming in this month. A few more compliance things will be cropping up that we'll be handling. But overall, everything is on time and in full. And we appreciate your confidence in everything that we've been doing and tracking and handling for the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anders. Council, is there a motion to accept the financial report?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt the financial report as presented by our Chief Financial Officer.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Random question as always, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Refundable bonds, is that for sidewalks or something, a developer?
Refundable bond, oh, you mean the...
Is that some kind of performance bond?
The $12,000 performance bond? Yes. That is a item that we have had for quite a while.
We are close to a resolution on that, and I'm hoping that that's taken care of shortly.
It's one of these, like I said, every once in a while I have a random curiosity, and that's the only reason I'm asking. I'm not asking for any urgency or anything like that.
No,
It's just
but that is a
random
quirk of
curiosity.
law. When that came in, Bill, I think you had seen it like 2 or 3 times at the county. North Carolina does allow somebody to come in and hand in a cash bond. And unfortunately, those laws do not give us any leeway. We have to put it in the bank, we have to hold it in an interest-bearing account, and then when it's over, we have to refund it plus the interest to the party. And in this case, one of our things is the long-term issue of this project, problems with NCDOT, and the original entity that deposited this is legally not the same entity now. It has split. So that's one of the things we're trying to get a determination on is,
Who gets it?
who do I put the check, who do I make the check to? Because the legal party the check came from is not the legal party in existence now.
Okay.
So,
It's just a
I know.
curiosity on my part.
This is one of those finance trivia things that someone could crop up with. It's, they're still, and we're not the only state. There's several, well, in fact, as far as I know, every state has some weird law quirk somewhere. And unfortunately, I seem to find most of them in the area of taxation and money.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries and the financial report is approved. Thank you so much. We will now proceed to item number 11, committee reports. And I'll invite reports of up to 3 minutes from our boards and committees, starting with Conservation Easement. Ms. Farrell.
Stephanie Farrell, 5839 Billet Road, and I'm the chair of the Conservation Easement Committee. The Conservation Easement Committee held a meeting on September 20th in the Town Hall. Updates include an Oak Ridge resident has confirmed interest in pursuing a conservation easement on his property to preserve open space through the Piedmont Land Conservancy. This is exciting news for the conservation easement effort here in Oak Ridge and for the trails effort in Oak Ridge as well, as this land could eventually be used as a trailhead in West Oak Ridge. Bill Bruce is in the process of scheduling a meeting between the landowner, Piedmont Land Conservancy, and members of the Conservation Easement Committee to discuss the process and how the organizations will work together with the landowner to put an easement in place. In addition, the Piedmont Land Conservancy and Oak Ridge will be working on developing a memorandum of understanding between PLC and Oak Ridge for this and future projects. In addition to this exciting news, we discussed conversations that have been ongoing with 3 other property owners about conservation easements on their structures. Representatives from the committee are continuing to build relationships with these property owners. We're happy to answer questions and provide information as needed in order to help guide people through this process. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 18th at 1 o'clock here at Town Hall. So are there any questions?
Thank you. I just want to clarify that if this easement proceeds, and I don't know if the easement committee approved it because we don't know the costs yet, but the idea is that we would give a grant to make this easement possible that would cover the funding of the easement and many of the costs associated with it.
That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
I have the MST report as well.
Oh, well, since you're up here, go ahead.
The Mountains to the Sea Trail Committee met via Zoom on Tuesday, September 26th. September was a big month for the MST Committee and the MST, as it was the MST's 46th birthday. In honor of this big occasion, a guided hike was held on September 21st from the Headwaters Trail to the Cascades Preserve and back. The hike was led by Ann Steele, Martha Pittman, and Joel Deaton. The hike was very well attended with more than 20 hikers. The MST committee also had a booth at last weekend's Heritage Day. For the second year in a row, we gave away bamboo hiking poles, which were a huge success. We'd like to point out that on October 21st, the Headwaters Trail will have been open for a year. We hope that everyone takes this opportunity to get out and enjoy it this fall as the temperatures cool down, and thanks to the volunteers who helped to maintain this trail. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now we'll hop back to item number B, special events. Ms. Domchowski.
Patty Domchowski, 7320 Hidden View Drive. I'd like to encourage everyone to join us at the Benbow's House 200th Anniversary Lawn Party on Sunday, October 15th from 4 to 7, rain date of October 22nd. There will be a house tour from 4 to 5 by the homeowner, Kyle Smythe. There'll be beer, wine, soft drinks, charcuterie boards, and featuring the Bathtub of the South Band. Please let Town Hall know if you'd like to attend so we can get a head count for the food and beverages. The cost is $20 for advance tickets and $25 for tickets at the door. We'd like to thank Marina Shepherd for sponsoring the event. Please join us for this great fall event. Parking is at the Credit Union Bank and the elementary school. Flyers are available at the back of the room or at Town Hall. Our participation at this year's Heritage Day was a great success, thanks to Sandra and her committee on all their hard work. Our winners for the pound cake contest were first place Jim Kinnaman, second place was Bob Brown, and third was Rose Shetsky. We sold our new 25th anniversary T-shirts and ornaments and made over $500 that will be donated to the Veterans Honor Green. Many thanks to all the volunteers that helped out. Our next event will be Light Up the Night event. Volunteers have been working on the 25 stars that will be placed on the lawn to celebrate our town's 25th anniversary. Volunteers will set up the luminaries on Tuesday, November 28th, and look for an invite on the social media and our town website. We continue to work on our donations for the Veterans Honor Green. Major thank you to the Town Council and also to Bill Bruce for continuing to work on the current bid process with our landscape architect, Mark Reeves. Thank you, thank you. As we're working on this final phase, and I was hearing things, I thought about all the work that went into getting us to this point. This project started back in 2019 with the committee creating our vision for the Veterans Honor Green and how we would accomplish this. Our initial community open house in November 2020 focused on input from local veterans and what they wanted to see in the veterans site. We've done over 10 presentations to local sponsors and community organizations. We've had amazing donations from many of the local historic families here in Oak Ridge. We've had breakfast in the park with the local vets to again obtain their input, continued social media blitz and ads in the Northwest Observer, flyers on pizza boxes, and flyers all over town. We've been featured in the Northwest Observer and local Fox News Channel. Our local scout, Nick Jameson, raised over $5,000 with a well-attended community fun run in the park. We've had 7 Memorial Day and Veteran Day observances with the focus on our veterans. To date, we've received 61 pavers requests, of which the majority are for remembering family veterans. I can't thank this community enough for all their involvement in this project and our amazing committee, and for the Town Council as we move forward towards the finish line for our Oak Ridge Veterans Honor Green to become a reality. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. Good. You did a great job, Pat.
Good timing.
You packed a lot in. Tree Board, Mr. Browning, I understand you're presenting today.
Good evening, Council. It's good to be with you. I'm offering you a 2-for-1 special. I'm going to do the Tree Committee plus the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. So John Browning, 8024 Linville Road. We actually had our Tree Committee meeting this morning, so just hot off the press. We basically just recapped Heritage Day, which the mayor ordered up the best weather, and it just cooperated, and we had a really fun time there. We did have a horticultural expert from Guilford County Extension, and we had a leaf identification section that was really popular and well-attended, and we gave away a walking stick by our local nationally renowned artist, Roy Nydorf, had a walking stick, so that was popular. And a fun fact from that, a 9th grader from Oak Ridge, a 4th grader from Oak Ridge Elementary was one of the, we had several people we had 15 leaves, and he was one of the top guessers, or knew more than most everybody, and he attended the Piedmont Forestry School here a few years ago, and so that has paid off, and we appreciate your support with the forestry school. So that was a fun event there, and we discussed several upcoming events, hopefully this winter and spring, that the Tree Committee will be involved with. So we're look forward to the coming future with planting more trees in Oak Ridge. So any questions or comments about that meeting?
Thank you very much.
Very good.
And just stay there, right?
There you go. I'll just stay right here. Here to present our information on our Parks and Rec meeting. Our meeting was held September 21st, and we did have a group that is more of an informational session for us. They were interested in having a cricket field. So we didn't know a whole lot about cricket, and we know a little bit more, but we kind of tabled everything till October, but they just need a flat, grassy field, and so we're going to maybe get more information from them, and they were going to meet with Terry, I think, sometime between now and our October meeting to get more information. But so apparently, there's a pretty active group of people that want cricket to play that. So anyway, and we did approve the use of the amphitheater for a nonprofit organization, HELP, which stands for Holistic Empowerment for Lifelong Progress Support Community. And they support immigrant workers and their families and community organizations and small businesses. Filipino food vendors will showcase the aspects of Filipino cultures, as well as have a fundraising arm for that, for help community members that need financial help. So we're happy to have that. I'm not exactly sure when that date is, but it's coming up, I think sometime in
November
October.
11th.
Okay, November 11th. Okay, very good. Okay, good. Most of our meeting was spent kind of talking through and about our Oak Ridge Youth Association usage agreement. Again, we have been proud partners with the Youth Association since 2007, and of all the partners we have, we're excited to
be partners with them and to continue our good relationship with the Youth Association to support youth athletics in Oak Ridge. So we still have a few questions to answer, but we'll look forward to making some progress for our October meeting, and we'll come back with the results from that. Did have Heritage Day, and again, it was a success. All vendors, and I think most of the biggest crowd we've ever had for Heritage Day. So we've heard some other good comments about Heritage Day. So that's been good. Again, I think the construction at Heritage Farm Park is just progressing at or about on pace. The weather's been real cooperative. But with that being said, we're going to, all the walking trails, again, at the Heritage Farm Park will be closed as of the week of September 25th.
They are closed.
Or they're closed now, yeah. So they're closed. I think they're constructing the paths and the trails. So we're excited for that to be an ongoing process. So anyway, thank you for your time. Any questions or comments from that?
Good job.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, and I did have one more thing to add. Our last Music in the Park is the 14th 80s Nation, probably one of the more popular weekends that we have. So it's a sponsored event, and we want to thank our sponsors, Marina Shepherd, Oak Ridge Commons, Domino's Pizza, Craft and Vine, Tarmax, and the Phoenix Edge for those. So it's been a good year for Music in the Park. So October 14th at 5:30, a little bit
Thank
earlier.
you.
Okay,
Thank you
thanks.
for wedging that in there. Finance Committee did not meet. Excuse me, if you could wait till public comments, there's another public comment period, and that would be the regular order for that. Thank you, appreciate it. Finance Committee did not meet. Water Advisory Board, Mr. Harton.
Jim Harton, 5901 Pepper Road. The Water Advisory Committee did meet, and you've heard much of what went on already, so I'll be a little bit redundant. We met on September 26th, I think. We talked about earlier the water tank, but the committee was informed at the meeting that the state had granted Oak Ridge the $4.5 million that was previously discussed. And we did review, as was said, pretty in-depth and had thorough discussion about the tank design. There were two small modifications, and because of that, we decided to go ahead and recommend that be presented to council tonight, and you've already passed that, and we'll move from there. The interlocal agreement, as of the meeting, the interlocal agreement with Winston-Salem, Winston-Salem was still reviewing at that time our town's comments to their interlocal agreement. And so as of the meeting, we were still awaiting any response from Winston-Salem. On the water system itself, and now we're not talking about the water line, we're talking about the water system. Josh Powers of EnviroLink indicated that the town of Oak Ridge is now in the water business. He indicated that 7 homes at Honeycutt Reserve have installed meters and are connected to the customer service group. He also indicated that some of the builders had been using jumpers to access water, and that needed to stop. The committee asked Josh to contact the developer, Garment Homes, and he did that immediately, but also immediately and very favorably, we got a response from Lee Spencer, the construction manager, thanking us for the notice and giving them 10 days to comply. He agreed to install meters on all homes currently under construction and to make sure that meters are installed on all new construction starts as they pull the building permits. That's it from the committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Historic Preservation Committee, Ms. Schoenfeld.
Good evening. I'm Debbie Schoenfeld, 8501 San Siro Farm Court, Oak Ridge. The HPC didn't meet at their regularly scheduled meeting for September 20th, but as you know, we are always busy. Courtney and I enjoyed representing the HPC at the Heritage Day event. We raffled off 4 VIP tickets to the Charles Bimbo House lawn party, and the girl that won was Patty Hanline. Anyway, I called her up, and she was really excited. She cannot wait to go. And lucky her, huh? Yeah. And we continue to work on the book. It's in the process of being proofread by multiple readers, multiple volunteers. And as a part of ORMA, Oak Ridge Military Academy's Bridge to the Ridge event, the town and the HPC will give tours of the west end of the historic district. Is it west end? East end. It's the east end of the.
Well, just of the ORMA campus.
The ORMA end, right. The tours are scheduled for Saturday, October 14th at 11:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. If you're interested in attending these tours, please call Town Hall or come by the HPC tent and sign up for the tours. And also, if you probably heard earlier that Maple Glade is going to be open for interior tours as well, and that's being done by the Oak Ridge Military Academy. I'm really excited about that. Everybody loves to get inside Maple Glade. It's beautiful. The HPC, I just want to say also that the HPC is excited about ORMA scheduling an event to connect the community with their historic campus. We have been a longtime supporter of ORMA, and we're always here to help in any way we can. We encourage everyone to attend the Bridge to the Ridge event and help ORMA by making donations. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Planning and Zoning Board did not meet, and we've already heard from Mountains to Sea, so we'll now proceed to community organization reports, and I see Ms. Lotion back there for Oak Ridge Elementary. Thanks for being here tonight.
Good evening. Penny Lotion, principal of Oak Ridge Elementary. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of ORE. I'd like to thank the town council for continuing to include in the yearly budget the hiring of law enforcement to assist with traffic during the first 2 weeks of school. This is a tremendous help for the school, our students, parents, and the community. Recently, the Summit Church's Big Serve Day provided ORE with an updated teacher lounge and updates to the outside classroom. The church has built a great relationship with ORE and support in many ways. Our students are enjoying the many after-school clubs that we've started this year: Run and Jump Rope Club, Chorus, Soccer Shots, and Drama for kids, just to name a few. We're gearing up for our book fair in a few weeks, which is a great opportunity for our students to purchase books and for the school to raise funds for the Media Center. I would like to give a shout out to our staff who continue to make ORE a great place. The state report card was just recently released, which shows how all schools, public and charter in the state, for the 22-23 school year performed. ORE was named a School of Excellence and received a letter grade of A based on growth and proficiency of our students. We were actually the only elementary school in Guilford County Schools that received a letter A. Wow. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Oak Ridge Youth Association, I don't see Mr. Collins here. I'm sorry? He's not, okay. So, and Oak Ridge Military Academy, we've already heard from Angie Williams. So we'll move on to item number 13, public comment, which is the second period for public comments. Again, we ask speakers to state their name and address for the record, and they have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Mr. Morris, come on down.
Joe Morris, 6727 Brookbank Road in Summerfield. Really, it's Oak Ridge, right on the line. I was told 30 years ago to never make a speech again that I wasn't a good speaker, but I'm here. I have a little history on the Mountain to Trails. Mountain to Sea trails, excuse me. It was in 1990 that Southern Railway abandoned its track along Battleground Avenue in Greensboro. Half of the property was supposed to go to the owners, the business owners along Battleground, and the other half would go to the cemetery or to the city behind it. Mayor Nussbaum at that time got his write-off in 3 minutes. The town of Greensboro told us that we would get ours, but it would take us 3 years. We joined, 25 to 30 businesses joined together. We came up with a plan to build the trail ourselves with the land that we would gain half of the railroad track. We would build it on that portion and build it ourselves. We presented the plan to the city and council, and they said, well, this sounds great. We also got the support of the Greensboro News and Record and the public. And the city said, hey, that's a good plan, but let us do it, which was a great win. So I think Lindsay over here is one of our neighbors. She presented the start of a plan to satisfy everybody, and so I encourage y'all to do this, to do the same, to work with them to come up with a reasonable solution. I thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak tonight? Mr. Anders.
Don't get used to this. You don't normally get blessed by me 3 times in the same meeting. It is later, but I want to just make this brief. This is something somewhat related to some of my endeavors and totally different. I had the pleasure a week ago yesterday of flying as a medic on the Triad Honor Flight. Now, I'd been asked, Chief Gibson had done this, and also I think had gone on one of these flights. Captain Robbie Bryant, that lives here in the community, had also done the same. I was asked to volunteer, did it, flew, on standby, ready to go. This time I was on the A team. I got to be on the 5-member medical team that was going. Okay, so we're going to get on a plane. We're going to fly to Washington, D.C. Oh, my God. This actually was a miniature invasion of Washington, D.C. I could not comprehend. Okay, we got to meet at the airport. So I go to the airport. I walk in. There's all these veterans. We've got the lieutenant governor. We've got a reception that started forming somewhere between 5 and 6 in the morning just to see us off, which was getting down to the gateway. We get down there. All the veterans, all the staff, everyone is fed. We then loaded the plane. And when I say loaded, we provided it to American Airlines. Everything we needed went with us. Waters, juices, snacks, wheelchairs, spare wheelchairs, in case somebody during the day decided they weren't going to be able to walk. So the belly of the plane is loaded with cargo. The top deck of the plane is loaded with over 200 human beings, and we take off and go to Washington. When we get there, we've got a reception. We're met by their ground crew with veterans and volunteers in D.C. that were there. And in record time, the plane is unloaded. Everything is taken from the gate, up the ramp to the gate, out to the buses, loaded under the belly of the buses. The vets are all loaded. Everyone is accounted for. I do not think the invasion of Normandy could have been handled any better. We never lost a vet. Everything was handled during the day. They arranged to feed the vets at lunch and supper again back at the airport, but we ate beside the Marine Memorial, the Iwo Jima Memorial. We made sure everybody was hydrated. We got in wheelchairs, we got out of wheelchairs, we stored wheelchairs, we deployed wheelchairs. We had 2 nurses, 2 EMTs, and an advanced EMT in the crew. We ended up using 1 Band-Aid during the day and helped put eye drops in on 1 vet that had glaucoma. But it's amazing that we moved over 200 people between the hours of 6 in the morning and when we got back at 10 o'clock at night. Over 200 people, the vets, their chaperones. We went to the Marine Memorial, Arlington National Cemetery, and the Tomb of the Unknowns. They sponsored a wreath laying for the veterans, the 2 World War II veterans still alive that were there, one in a wheelchair, went up and were able to present the wreath. We went to Lincoln Memorial, Vietnam War Memorial, and Korean Memorial, World War II Memorial, and we did a drive-by on the new Air Force Memorial. We had veterans from every branch of the armed forces. It was truly a wonderful, wonderful thing. Triad Honor Flight was at Heritage Day. They were 2 doors down from the fire department. They had the vets beside of us and then Triad Honor Flight. I would encourage anyone in the community that has the wherewithal, this is a wonderful organization to donate to see the amount of manpower that they organized, and all of this for an average cost of about $600 a vet. Air travel, all the logistics going to and from, found out that even the air crews try to volunteer to get on this. One gentleman whose father was a vet and who wanted to join and suffered an eye injury at a young age. This was his 50th honor flight that he's volunteered as a steward to fly. We had 2 young stewardesses in their early 20s that had volunteered because they had family members. So these folks are headquartered right here in Guilford County. We had vets from all over the state. So I strongly encourage everyone in the community, when they have a fundraiser, the fish plate's really good. Go buy a plate of fish. You can drive through the station when they do it at Oak Ridge. They do other fundraisers. They accept donations. But this is something that brought a lot of joy to a lot of veterans, and I'll close with this, and I know I'm over the time, and the clerk's not throwing anything. But when we walked out, one of the gentlemen my family knows, his first initials he goes by MK. We walk out. MK was a Vietnam vet, Navy, suffered some hearing loss from firing large caliber guns. We walk out. MK, did you have a good time? And he turned around and kind of danced a little jig and said, Sam, this homecoming's so good, I'm ready to go sign up for another 4-year hitch. And he paused and said, I'd have to be a whole lot younger, though, for them to take me. And then walked on out. But it made a big event for a lot of these guys' lives. And I just wanted to speak about it. We've got good support here. The department has been a big supporter for several years. The community here has done it. I just like anyone that doesn't know about this and know that they're headquartered in Guilford County. It's a very worthwhile organization.
Thank you. That was very moving. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Ms. Smith? This doesn't happen very often.
I don't remember it. You can. Go ahead. I won't take 3 minutes.
I'd just like to thank everybody for attending Heritage Day. You heard a lot of committee reports tonight. Heritage Day was amazing this year. As one of the organizers, I have just been so pleased with this event. I think this was our 7th or 8th one. It has gotten bigger and better every year, and I believe this year we have finally reached capacity on that field that is as large as it can get, and next year we will have to come up with some kind of an alternate plan if we're going to grow any. But thank you to all the committees, thank you to council members who participated, who helped with the planning, and thank you to my wonderful committee that also works hard on this and supports everything that we do. So thank you.
Thank you. It was a great success. Is there anyone else? Mr. Stone?
Mike Stone, 8112 Hunting Cog Road. Honor Flight is awesome. I participated, and it is an experience that you'll remember for the rest of your life. So thank you for that, Sam. So a lot of you probably know, if you've driven around town, there's a group within the town of Oak Ridge, a group of 5 people that are working hard that you may not know what services they're providing. But one of our objectives is to assist homeowners with determining the porosity of their lawns near the streets. We do this using probes that look similar to this. Most of them have on them the names of the people that are actually doing the services for you. So we do this by sticking the probe in the ground and finding where we can drill these probes in. And we'll leave the sign there so that you know who helped you out with that. What we have learned, I believe, there are a few people, what we have learned that Oak Ridge probably could appropriately be named Rock Ridge. There are just not that many soft spots. But we do appreciate everybody getting involved, hopefully a little bit of levity, folks. We take ourselves too seriously a lot of times. We're all neighbors, we're all friends, have different points of view from time to time, but at the end of the day, we all live here in Oak Ridge. If you need our services, I'm sure you can reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to help you with probing the streets along your roads. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wasn't sure where that was going with the construction sign, but I get it. I get it. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? If not, we will proceed to item number 14, which is council comments. And we'll start with you, Councilman Sullivan.
Thank you. I'm amazed once again at the work our committees and our staff do, given all of the activities in our town. This has been a great fall season to explore our town's history with Heritage Day, with the upcoming tours of the Historic District East, if you will, the opportunity to visit the Academy and to look at Maple Glade, which is an amazing house in its own right, and the special treat of the Charles Benbow House being open for tours. That is another amazing house. I've been very fortunate to be in that house, and it really takes you back, I guess is the best way to put it. But thanks to all our committees, there's a lot of things going on that would not be possible without their work. You've heard what I'm about to say before, but I'm going to say it again. There are roughly 750 incorporated municipalities in the state of North Carolina. Oak Ridge has a tax rate that is in the lowest 35 of those 750. Our tax rate is to be envied. If you look at your tax bill, less than 10% of it goes to the town. Most of it goes to the county. And if your home's valued at $500,000, your tax bill from the town is $400. Look around you and take stock of what that $400 is providing to you as a citizen of this community. It's got to be the best value you could ever hope for an investment. And I think it speaks to the fiscal responsibility of not only this council, but of all the previous councils, that we've been able to accomplish what we have accomplished with such a reasonable and low tax rate. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pittman.
Yes, tonight we had a very full agenda, and we, honestly, I think it's one of the few times since I've been on council, which is going on 4 years now, that I've actually run out of space for all my public comments. So I'm so glad that everybody came tonight. Those of you that know me, I am big on having conversations. Conversations are when you listen to understand, not listen to respond. And so there's many of you tonight. I'd love to have those conversations. We had two significant items when I'm looking through it. Seems like we have theme meetings sometimes. But they were related to public safety. The mutual aid agreement, which we updated, and the planned water tower. Both of them will strengthen our preparedness for emergencies. And we hope they never come, but we do need to be prepared. Both agreements are in partnership with someone. The mutual aid agreement is obvious in the way it's stated, and the water tower is going to allow us to strengthen our relationship by providing our Oak Ridge Fire Department with reliable water for fire suppression. And a lot of people don't understand that the Oak Ridge Fire Department is not a part of the town of Oak Ridge. It is a separate entity. I get that question all the time. So it is a partnership. They are not answerable to us, and we're not really answerable to them, although we try to be. Most people don't realize how much work goes into this as they go about their busy daily lives. But those of us that are involved in the town matters and issues, we understand how hard our staff, our colleagues, our volunteers, and everyone works together in cooperation. And I want to acknowledge that. I appreciate everything that everybody does at all levels, because we couldn't do it without that level of cooperation. I often use the expression, being a good neighbor. And I've been using that for years, even before I went on council and other roles that I have. And I'm talking about cooperation. And both of the safety projects that we advanced tonight are founded in being good neighbors. So as always, I love having conversations. I love hearing from people. I'm willing to discuss any and all topics. I don't have any lines. But after having said all that, I just wish all of my neighbors out there a great evening.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Kinnaman.
Got a couple things. Three of us up here are members of the Lions Club. One big thing I want to say is thank you to everyone that supported us in the last month, because we had two of our major fundraisers. We had our golf tournament, which was very successful. That's our primary fundraiser. But also we sell hot dogs at Heritage Day. And we've got a reputation that we sell good hot dogs. Well, we usually don't always sell out. We usually come with 200 hot dogs. Well, this year we sold out by 1 o'clock. So I want to thank everybody that came by and bought a hot dog. Like I said, now as far as Lions Club, we focus on sight and hearing. So if you ever know of anyone that needs help getting an eye exam or glasses, send them our way. Most of our money stays local, so we're helping people all the time with getting eyeglasses and eye exams. As always, there's a blood drive come Monday, the United Methodist Church. There's several gift cards that are going to be given away in addition to the normal. There's usually 4 $50 gift cards that are given away, but I believe the blood Red Cross is giving away some additional gift cards. So if you can give blood, please do. The election's coming up. The election is the ultimate report card that you can give us. It's when you can definitely give us a grade of whether or not we're doing the job you expect us to do. So early voting is coming up. You can register if you haven't registered during early voting. You will need a photo ID this time, but it can be, there's a wide range of photo IDs, so that should not be a challenge to providing a photo ID. But again, the election is the ultimate report card. So if you like what's going on, take that in mind. If you don't like what's going on, take that into consideration too. But it's the ultimate report card. I want to briefly touch on the trails. Trails, I understand, are disconcerting when they come in your backyard. I understand that. But we have a solid history of several trails that go in people's backyard. The Headwaters Trail go definitely across many backyards. The Cascades, it comes right out in their backyards. There's a fence just in between them and the trail. Crime does not follow trails. I'm not going to say crime never comes on trails, but trails do not attract crime, no more than the road in front of your house, okay? I encourage you to research that on your own. I understand coming from me, it's not going to carry much weight. So I encourage you to research trails, find out what the crime is related to it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that crime does not follow trails, okay? We want the trails to connect communities. So the fact that a trail comes through a community is something we want, or at least I do, because it makes it so that you can get into the trails and walk those trails all the way eventually over to the park. I'd much rather you walk through the trails, through the woods, down along the road, even if it is a paved road. But I would encourage you to come to the MSD Trail Committee meetings, talk to them, find out what their experience has been with the existing trails, because the existing trails do go in people's backyards, right across them. I mean, I think the Headwater Trails butts up right against people's property lines, okay? There's a homeowner in that development that has built a trail down to the trail, because that's how much they like the trail being in their backyard. But I understand it is disconcerting that you will have people walking across the back of your property. I encourage you to keep an open mind. To Councilwoman Pittman's point, We want to have an open dialogue about this, though. We want to make sure you're comfortable with it and we address your concerns. If there's alternate solutions, I'm open for them. But I would tell you to research trails. I think you'll find that trails are not a threat to the safety of your community. On the surface, intuitive, you would think it would be, but it's not. Increased traffic actually discourages crime, okay? So like I said, I could go on for a while, but like I said, I encourage you to keep the dialogue going. I encourage you to research the trails. I encourage you to attend some of the MST trails, meet your neighbors that are on the MST. The trails that we have in our town were built almost entirely by volunteers. That's how enthusiastic our residents are about the trail system. So I would definitely encourage you to reach out to members of the Trail MST committee. I think they'll be very open to trying to address your concerns and also open to different ideas about how we might resolve this, okay? But please, we're keeping an open mind. I hope you keep an open mind too. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman McClellan.
Madam Mayor, may I just address something that Councilman Kinnaman said? Just wanted to remind people with the election that there is no early voting at Town Hall this year. There are early voting sites in the county, but Oak Ridge Town Hall is not one. We are only open on Election Day.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you. Councilman McClellan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Today certainly was good news for our town here, and, you know, with the approval moving forward on the water tower. And most importantly, I'm very thankful for the $4.5 million that will be used to help build and can bring that pipe in from Forsyth County. The mayor and I worked very diligently on that in the negotiations with members of, you know, Representative Faircloth on the appropriations committees. The $500,000 did come from the Senate, as you know, and actually I think we had asked the Senate for how much? And
Well, we gave them choices.
well, we gave them choices, which totaled quite a bit, if I remember correctly. Right. But at no time was there any corruption, as was alluded by a particular candidate that's trying to have an issue for this campaign. This $4.5 million is what's going to make this a reality, providing public safety for fire suppression. It's also going to provide an opportunity for the citizens who live along that route who might want to hook up to the system. So this is a great opportunity and a great day for our town. After 25 years of talking about this, we are finally getting it done. Now, doesn't mean it's going to be tomorrow, but it will. My thinking is that we'll probably start seeing construction of that tower sometime next year. And I'm very proud of the role that I have played, and also equally proud of the role that my partner, the mayor, has played, because we were following up every week with the legislature on this during the budget period. And of course, like everybody else, we were kind of looking at the time, the clock, as it went past July. But we finally got it, and you know, we want to thank our friends in the legislature for what they did for Oak Ridge, and that includes you know, all the members down there. So anyway, and I also want to thank the Water Advisory Committee for their hard work, and they are doing a heck of a job. And you know, one of the things about what we have done tonight is, you know, none of this would be possible if it weren't for our citizen-led committees. And I just want you to know I really do appreciate the work that you do. But this is going to take us to a whole new level, and I'm looking forward to when they're putting in those pipes and the role that we have played, not only as negotiating on the money portion, but the work that all of us have done. So thank you very much, and as always, I am truly honored to serve you, the citizens of Oak Ridge, North Carolina.
Thank you, George. And thanks to all the citizens. I know it's a long meeting. I'm sorry about that. People have left already, but I want to thank all the residents and non-residents who spoke up today. We always want to hear from residents. My sense is that we need to have more conversations. I think, you know, looking at the pedestrian plan, there are things in there that haven't made it up to a funding level or into our strategic plan. One of the reasons that we explicitly in our strategic plan have focused on easements through developments is because of some of the reasons that Mayor Pro Tem Kinnaman spoke about. But it's also something that's possible. Anything we have to do with NCDOT can take 10 to 20 years. There's a big issue there. But what I hope for is this spirit of cooperation where we're all open to conversation and to learning from each other. I invited today, when I met with Mr. DeLine and Ms. Clark, I offered you, Martha.
Thank you.
And members of the MST.
And I extend the invitation
Yeah.
as well. Come walk with me. Put on your boots and let's go explore.
Yeah,
And I
so
think
take
you'll
a
see
look.
something.
Right, take a look at what's there. And I know you might not, I know sometimes that's not what you want to do, but if we're going to have this conversation, that's a way for you to participate and learn about our side. Well, it isn't our side, but another side of this that is supported by many, many residents in Oak Ridge. And I am grateful for another point of view. I'm grateful for new ideas, but let's work in cooperation. I do want to say I was grateful a couple weeks ago to attend the fall meeting of the North Carolina Mayors Association, and I won't go into depth, but I learned a lot. I always learn a lot from my fellow mayors, and I enjoy serving on the board of directors for that organization. But one thing that stuck out to me is how impressed my fellow mayors, there were about 50 of them from across North Carolina, were with what we're doing in Oak Ridge. They couldn't believe that we have open space in the middle of our town and that we're using it to construct it during this. I mean, I guess some people might disagree with this, but during this period of rapid growth, we are still trying to hold on to what makes Oak Ridge a very special rural and historic spot. So some people might prefer to put housing developments in there, but we have made the decision in Oak Ridge to make that a recreational spot and to preserve scenic views. And it's incredible. And we get, well, they were envious, okay? They would love to have that in their town. I want to thank the Northwest Observer today and thank all the candidates who've stepped forward to run. You can read about the different candidates in today's issue. Election turnout in Oak Ridge is typically very low, so your vote counts a lot. I always say that. And as I said last month, I'm an enthusiastic supporter of Councilman George McClellan and Councilwoman Martha Pittman, as well as newcomer Jim Harton, who's not a newcomer to our committees in our town. But I believe that they're well prepared to serve you. But I encourage everyone to do your own homework and find out the candidates who you think rate well on the report card. And with, if there's no further discussion, we will proceed to the final item, which is adjournment. Council, is there a motion?
Motion, we adjourn.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries, and we are
3 minutes to spare.
adjourned.